Reminder.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go ahead and open with our native land acknowledgement. We meet today on settled indigenous land, which is the traditional territory of the Chinookan peoples of the Wasco, Rishram, Warm Springs, and Grand Ronde tribes. Let us honor this land and its traditional native stewards, past, present, and future, and strive today to embody a commitment to cultural equity and reconciliation, ecological conservation, and sustainability. In this spirit, I call this meeting to order at 4:01 p.m. and I hand it to Amy to take a roll call. All right. Madam Chair Laura Dunn,
I'm here.
Madam Vice Chair Letty Moretti here. Secretary Daryl Roberts,
Here.
Megan Larrabee,
Here.
Megan Rainey. She is absent. Greg Pack.
Here.
All right, awesome. And then just to confirm, it looks like we have a couple of public members or members of the public. So we have Melvin Richardson. And also for the record, can you call her the last digits of 6630? Can you let us know who that is? Okay. Looks like we have Tia
Can you hear
here
me?
as well.
Oh, yeah, we hear you now.
Yes. It's Thomas Paul at 6630.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So move ahead. We have minutes for the October 20th regular meeting in the packet. Are there any changes that board members would like to make?
I didn't notice any changes that needed to be made, so I'll make a motion to approve the October meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, do we need a second on that? May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Did we hear an aye from Greg? Thank you, and chair votes aye. So now's opportunity for public comment regarding a discussion item that's not on the agenda. So if you'd like to make a comment, you can raise your hand. Or if by attending by phone, you can press the *9 to raise your hand by phone.
Megan Larrabee. Yes. she's here. And I'm sorry, I did forget to say Jeff Halford. He is absent.
Okay,
Go ahead, Patty.
sorry. You voted, right?
Yes.
We did vote to Okay. approve the minutes, yes.
Sorry.
Okay, if there's no public comment, then we'll move ahead to our financial overview from Teresa Galucci and our team accounting. Go ahead, Teresa.
Thank you. Before I get started, I want to ask your forgiveness for missing the meeting last month. I had a person extremely close to me that not only had severe COVID, but also had an appendicitis emergency. And I just totally lost track of the whole day. I wasn't working, and I know that put you all in a bind, and I apologize. Moving on to financials. The cash on hand at the end of October was 1.2 million. That's about 179,000 more than we had last month. And it's also 190,000 more than last year at this time. I just want to note that we've received our first batch of property tax money. There's about 15,000 included in this amount. We budgeted 200,000 for the year. Most of that money will come in the next, during November and December.
Yeah, we just received another allocation, so we're up to 126,000. So I think we're pretty close to being on track to meet the $200,000 dollar amount.
Yes. Grant reimbursements, all of the Q4 from 21 funds have been received now. And we're submitting the Q1 activity and accruing for the Q2, October and November shortly. Revenue, we've earned 967,000 so far this year. 385,000 of that was in October alone. You'll notice in your budget to actual report, there's a fairly large variance. That is for the purchase of buses that we won't be able to claim until those buses have actually been purchased. And then the next thing, kind of noteworthy, personnel expenses so far this year have totaled 415,000. Year over year comparisons are not, they'll be kind of skewed because of COVID last year. We budgeted 426,000, and so we're on 11,000 positive variance in that area. So through the end of October, we have a net income of 298,000. That's
Teresa, I'm just going to stop you on the personnel. We expect that to drop. We have reduced service due to the fall, so we expect that number to drop this year, this month and next month, and maybe a slight increase on the Gorge to Mountain when we start that up again in December and January. Just to note that it is sort of very variable based on the season.
cool. Thank you. Anyway, we are about 337,000 better than what we had budgeted at this time in the year. Does anybody have any questions? Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. I hope your friend is doing all right. Yeah,
Thank you. We're not out of the woods yet, but thank you.
oh, that sounds bad. We're glad you could make it today. So attached to our meeting packet were the revised policy for nonprofits, and Amy can go ahead and explain what we have there.
Yes. So last board meeting, we reviewed the original draft, and board members had some concerns and asked us to revise the policy, which we have done. And the main big changes were making sure that there is a vehicle available or kind of reserved for nonprofits who would want to advertise on the bus. The priority for available spaces will be given to those organizations or businesses who are willing to pay for a 6-month or year-long lease on an available space. Nonprofit agencies who wish to pay for a 6-month or year-long bus advertising lease will receive a 20% discount for the space. If there is advertising space available on any bus, a nonprofit agency may lease the space at cost until there is a business that wants to pay to lease the space. CAT guarantees a nonprofit who receives a spot at cost will be guaranteed a minimum 3-month lease before being replaced by a paid advertiser. And CAT will make nonprofit agencies aware of this offer and will work to ensure that there's good use of the available advertising space. Any questions?
What's the total number of available spots, nonprofit and for-profit?
Do you want to say total number of vehicles or like total number of vehicles that run?
I think we want the running vehicles.
So at any given point right now, there's 6 or 7 vehicles out on
Okay.
the road.
Yeah.
we have more than that, they're just not all.
Mhm.
all valued at the same
Cycling.
time.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to say you have 10 spots and 4 of them are on vehicles that are like the backup ones, or,
Mhm.
And how many
How you want-
spaces on each vehicle for advertising?
Just one.
Just one.
Okay.
well, sorry, the full-size motor coaches, the Columbia Road Express ones, we did 3 or 4 on the
Three,
side?
three.
on the
Yeah.
side?
Okay.
3 on the side.
So 10-ish.
10-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And right now, only one of those spots is filled by a paid advertising.
Mr. Richardson, you looked like maybe you had something to say. Did you have a comment? Okay, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Amy, I think the policy is clear, clearly laid out, and so thank you for putting that in writing. Any questions about it for Amy? Then we need a motion to approve the item.
I'll make a motion to approve the item.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to jump you. Chair votes aye. Okay, on to operations manager report. Go ahead, Ty.
Okay. So then other statistics for October. Our safety score went back up. We're
Yay.
in the 99s again.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
0 accidents. We had 5 harsh events. 3 of those are still on one of the 2 vehicles that we need to get the gateways is what they're called, but the trackers mounted actually, because that's what's causing the box moving around on the vehicle is what's causing the harsh event and not the actual
Oh,
vehicle having a harsh event. Our mechanic has been very busy though with other things,
Other
so
priorities.
those are bottom of the list. But yeah, once again, the harsh events are reviewed by myself or a field supervisor and one of the safety committee members. So anytime we get one, they're video reviewed, and if they're actually a harsh event, then proper corrective action is taken. We reduced service, so drive time and miles driven are both down. They're about 75% of what they were. Our on-time performance was up across the board. Other statistics are fuel used went up, the gas used went up, our diesel usage went down significantly. That was because we cut back the Columbia Road Express and we did have all of our diesel vehicles down for a week or so. So now we have diesel vehicles back. We do prefer to run those. They are cheaper and more fuel efficient. Our driver of the month is Robert Barrick. Just trying to think of good things to say, like he always goes the extra mile. But no, he always fills in for any other driver. Anybody wants vacation, Robert's first there to say, oh, I'm happy to take it.
want to post his picture?
I actually don't have it.
Oh, you don't?
It's in the, I put
We
it
have it in the
I put
packet.
in the report now.
Yeah, sorry.
It's in the
did I change that?
Okay, all right.
I like the glasses.
Well, we are.
And so we just
recognizing-
take these pictures from, they take a picture every time they clock in and out.
Oh.
So all these
Okay.
pictures come from that.
Surprise.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
not always the best photo.
Not a professional portrait.
He's also a very just calm guy.
Yeah.
And he is very good with passengers and just a wonderful employee in general.
And very quiet, but very good sense of humor.
Thanks for introducing him.
Yeah.
Is that all you have for us?
That is
Are we
all on that one. Do you want to go over the
ridership?
ridership?
Yes.
Sorry, let me open that one up. Do you want me to go or are you gonna pull it up on there too?
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
I have-
So sorry, Amy's not gonna pull it up on the screen. Everybody should have it in their packet. The one confusing thing on here is the hours on the city route actually went up,
Mm.
even though we decreased service. And that is because we ended the weekend trolley and now the city route is running 7 days a week.
Oh,
So it looks on here
Mhm.
originally like, oh, we cut a lap off the beginning of the end. Why did the number of hours go up? But it's because we added the weekend service. Me and Patty talked about pulling it out so we could see the boarding rides per hour and see if there's a big difference from the weekend. It was almost identical, the boarding rides per hour on the weekend and during the week. So we just left it all in one line item. But that is why the hours actually increased from September to October.
So, and we did want to talk with the board about that, about how they prefer to look at the ridership. We could call, rather than calling it the trolley, we could call it just weekend city route and weekday city route.
We do the Same thing for the Columbia Gorge Express and Horseshoe Mountain
Right.
stuff as well.
So if there's an interest to break it down further, we can do that. The Columbia, yes, as Ty mentioned, the Columbia Gorge Express also runs on the weekend. So we could let you see the differences between weekday and weekend, summer to winter and et cetera. So I don't think we need to make a particular decision right this moment, but it is something to think about and let us know how you'd like it to be displayed. How you think it would be easiest to do that.
Yeah, so the other thing that with hours that we'll notice is the dial-a-ride hours dropped significantly. So prior to this, we were using a calculator, we were basically using the scheduled shift time. So if there was a driver scheduled from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening, and they had a 2-hour lunch, we took that entire time and okay, that is all the time we're putting in for dial-a-ride. If dial-a-ride is not full, we have drivers do other things. They're gonna do the trash, they might go fuel another vehicle or whatever. So we were including those hours in this hours representation because this is service hours. It should really only be hours that that driver is out driving that route. So this is significantly down because it is now actually only the service hours that it was out
That are driving.
doing dial-a-ride. Whereas like September is 186 hours compared to 69 hours. We didn't actually drop that many. We just changed the way we're reporting it so that it's more correct.
But overall, if you look down at the bottom, overall, we're maintaining a higher boarding rides per hour, and we feel pretty good about that. That's we expect this as we move out of COVID that those numbers will increase, and we think it's a good indicator of the direction we're going in. Anything else?
That's all I have on that. We did just go to a new system with the drivers. They each used to have their own tablet. Now we've mounted the tablets in the vehicle's permanently, so the tablet stays with the vehicle. Well, hoping that that also increases the ridership thing. We had the drivers turning papers in as well as their tablets. And as field supervisors noticed that there was a correlation between when they were switching tablets and when there's missing passengers from the tablet things. So next month, we will have an update on whether that is seemed to fix any of the missing passenger issues.
And we also hope next month to begin to have some demos for the board to look at in terms of automated passenger counters, which will be the most accurate opportunities. There are ones that are coincide with fare payment, ones that are standalone. High plans to set up some meetings before the board meeting for any board member who has an interest viewing what demos might be available and what might have an interest.
The first one tomorrow morning.
Oh, well, the first one that is for staff is tomorrow morning, but in terms of, we'll make them available so the board can also take a view. Are you done?
Thank you, Sai.
Yeah, that's,
Thanks,
unless
Ray.
anybody has questions on that.
So I'm just gonna launch right in. I wanted to introduce Tia. Tia, are you somewhere? Can you give
There
us
we
a
are.
There she
a
is.
wave? Tia has accepted our position for bookkeeper administrative assistant, and she will begin with us on
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. So we're excited.
Welcome.
Welcome.
She will get her training right away, and she should be a welcome addition. Tia, do you want to give a little bit of your background and say hi to the board?
Yeah, I absolutely can. Hi, I'm Tia. I'm really excited to join this team. Previously, before COVID, I have an accounting background. I was with Maryhill Winery. Absolutely enjoy, the accounting world, and I'm excited to get back into it. So next Tuesday can't come quick enough. So thank you.
Thank you, Tia. And Tia, you're welcome to join or keep listening and be part of the meeting, but you're also more than welcome to sign off if you'd like to as well.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
Just a brief update on the executive director position. We are having two initial there are 4 candidates that we will be interviewing between Thursday and Friday. We're hopeful that we can find a couple of candidates, one or more, to move forward into a second interview. And yeah, so we're moving forward with that. That's about all I have to say on that issue. TMP updates, the public improvement plan is,
Public engagement.
excuse me, public engagement plan and it should be available before, a draft copy should be available before the board meeting. We do now have the CAT community advisory committee up on the website. It is in both English and Spanish application versions. We have let Spanish applicants know that we will have a translator so that they can participate in the meeting.
There's also there's a physical version as well. So if there's folks who don't want to do it online, we have that option.
There's an existing conditions report as we're making good progress on that. We expect that to be available sometime before your January board meeting. We'll have, that will be quickly followed by a technical advisory committee meeting, which is more sort of city county folks. And then after they've had their chance to review it, it will go on to the CAC for review. So that will put us back into a well-oiled process. And we're excited to be moving forward on that element.
Is that
That's my report.
That's your report. Thank you, Patty. It's quick tonight. Okay, now we'll move into executive session per OR 192-660-2D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. So at this time, I need to ask Amy and members of the public to leave. Members of the press may remain online, and we do need to have Ty stay with us as he is leading this discussion as a member of the management's negotiating team.
Thanks for the accessibility. Have a good day.
You bet. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm going to pause record.
Okay,
And Tracy's no longer.
okay. All right, we have ended the executive session at 4:52 p.m. and resuming our regular business meeting. We're on to discussion item 10, discussion items. The board members have asked to discuss a couple of items. Jeff had brought up the issue of CAT and schools and CAT integration. And Patty, do you want to summarize for him, or do you think he would want us to?
Yeah, I
Table
don't,
that
integration is probably not
Yeah.
exactly the word he wanted us to use, but that maybe that there was more opportunities for us to support the school district in getting kids to school. And as I mentioned, we have reached out to the school district. We have had ongoing conversations. I think that it's a longer conversation, probably not something that we can do a whole lot immediately about. I do think that as part of the transit master plan, there is an opportunity to talk about how we can be more supportive of the district and how they can be more supportive of us. So I think there are some opportunities there. I think there was a question about specifically after-school activities. And the answer to that question is, as long as it's in the district or somewhere close by in the gorge, we can find a way to work with ourselves and our other partners to try and make something work. We do not have any opportunity to go outside of our district to provide services, like to take a baseball team or basketball team, whatever the team is these in the fall, to like Newburgh or something like that. That becomes then a charter service. We have talked with the school district about the potential to link them up with CDL type of drivers. If they were to have a bus that might be available, we might be able to get one of our drivers to help them out on their own time, if drivers were an issue. So that's one of the issues that we have, is just as a public transit agency, we cannot use our vehicle, publicly funded vehicles, or public funding for drivers to provide service that a charter or a tour bus could otherwise provide.
I'm
It's
not
also a
getting
different
those.
endorsement on your license too, to drive school bus versus passenger.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
There is a whole
That's
different
true.
endorsement as well, yeah. I think for like a sports team outside the district, it's a little bit different, but yeah.
It does seem that they've been able to resolve the major disruptions in service that they were having at the beginning of the school year.
I'm not getting those texts
Yeah.
anymore that they're an
Yeah.
hour late
Exactly,
to school.
exactly. But we really, my family really appreciated your help setting up that extra service for my daughter when the school buses were late.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was too bad we couldn't help get the word out so more students could have availed themselves of that, but that's some things we can talk about.
Yeah.
As we go forward. at
And then-
TNP.
That's an ongoing process too.
Mhm.
And continue to work with them and
Yeah.
see how we can do it. And
Yeah.
we have, there are some students who do use it on a regular basis, which is great to see. And they make the rides all on their own and every week. So, yeah. Yeah. So we do have some ridership, but we're hoping to work with the school even more.
Yeah.
Megan, I know this was an issue for you. Did you want to comment or have any thoughts or ideas?
No, thanks for looking into it. I guess I just kind of wanted to know like what it entailed. And I think even listening to Ty's presentation earlier about a lot of our drivers don't have the CDL, that I kind of anticipated that might be a problem, because I was expecting that probably there was different requirements for transporting students. So thanks for looking into this.
Okay, so our next item, Daryl brought up about the wraps on the bus, and Daryl, maybe you can start that discussion for us.
Well, I decided I should probably ride the bus a few times since I'm on the board, and And I have a free pass, so I did that the last couple of weeks. And the first thing I noticed when I sat down on the bus was it's kind of difficult to see out through the windows. And I'm riding the buses that you see that are all purple completely all the way around. It was mainly the upper valley and lower and into town from, Odell routes. And I felt like, I mean, my immediate impression was, gee, this must be what it's like to sit on a prison bus, because they don't want you to be able to see where you're going.
Your view is obscured. You can
Yes.
see out, but yeah, I was a little disappointed riding through the gorge last time too. I think the wraps on the bus make it look really great from the outside.
Yeah. But the rider experience, it leaves something to be desired. So Ty and I have talked about it somewhat back and forth with some emails, and it seems like it's maybe not workable to change the current buses, because he's hoping they won't be around much longer, and the cost of redoing the wraps is excessive. But maybe what we need to do is come up with a policy where we don't do that on buses in the future.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he showed us the option where the logo can be just below the window and then the windows are clear.
Mhm.
And I've had people asking, so are there many people riding those buses? Because they can't see in either, so, maybe having those open windows, gives us some more transparency as well.
Mhm.
Good one.
And
Thank you.
the drivers, I talked to 2 drivers about it, and they said, yes, there's been other passengers that aren't very happy about it, especially on the gorge route on 84.
So, sounds like we kind of have agreement that just as we replace those ones, we go with the clear windows,
Mhm. Sounds good.
right?
All right. Upcoming events, I mentioned the executive director interviews on the 18th and the 19th. We have Thanksgiving holiday, and we're closed both Thanksgiving and the day after. That is in our contract, so we are going to honor that. We think after the whole summer, we all need a extra long break, so we're gonna hope to do that.
I'm kind of back up there, Patty, one other thing with the executive director interviews, we're doing the first rounds for current applicants these next couple of days, and then after Friday, the hiring committee hopes to, recommend one or more of those applicants for a second round, and we will schedule those, hopefully we'll schedule those at the end of this week. At the end of this week, we will be doing the scheduling. We had set aside the 2nd and the 3rd of December. Letty has a schedule conflict on that. The 3rd is not going to be great for me either. The 2nd maybe still could be okay for me. I haven't heard from Jeff. We had agreed that at least one of the hiring panel members would be in that second interview. But then we would like to invite other board members to participate. So you should be hearing from us at the end of this week or maybe the beginning of next week, inviting, with the dates that we're proposing for a second round interview or interviews, and inviting you to participate. So look for that email and let us know what you can do.
The Hood River Holiday Parade is 12/3. We typically have a bus lit up to be part of the parade. We would encourage all of the board members to participate. They can bring their families to ride the bus and wave out the window and be part of the parade.
It's actually a little different this year.
Oh.
It's the buses are gonna be in one, or the vehicles are in one spot.
Oh, well, there you have it.
So
So,
people can come in and look at them and.
Yeah,
Okay.
They don't drive around at all?
that was the impression that I got when I read it.
Because we
Yeah,
did that.
it's a static parade. So
Yeah.
you just park your vehicle and then the
People will come.
people just walk by.
Because they did that 2 years ago, but then you drove afterwards, like they let us park and everybody came by and did it, but then they cleared it and then everybody drove at the
Oh,
end.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Did we go over?
Then we leaving town.
No, okay.
So, the other thing is, I am going to be having a holiday parade, holiday, dinner. We're gonna do it at, for all of the staff, and we wanted to invite the board. We're looking at December 8th, from, probably somewhere between 6 and 9 PM. We're hoping it will be a full meal dinner. We are.
It's a Monday?
It's a Wednesday. And it will likely be at Kickstand. So we are just working out the details. It'll likely be a festive dinner. And
What time did you say? 7 to 8?
6
to 9.
6 to 9.
Okay.
We're encouraging board members to come and meet the staff. And to thank them for all the hard work that they've done over the year. We may, been thinking about maybe we'd encourage people to bring cookies, and we could have cookies and ice cream for dinner, or maybe a cookie exchange. So we're hopeful that the board will want to participate. We think it's a fun idea. We are, as part of that, going to ask that the board allow us to stop the Portland route and the city route, so all of our drivers can attend. That would be a partial, the last trip to Portland would be cut, and I think the last 3 trips on the city route would be cut. And we would just advertise that as sort of our holiday day, where, so that's the ask. And if not, we'll look for, for some paid drivers to help us.
Could really only be last 1.5 city laps.
Okay, sorry, last 1.5 city laps. So it's largely part of the reason that we're doing it during the week is that the weekends, people tend to ride the bus more often and want the later bus. So we see less need for a later bus in the evening.
So how will you notify? riders
So we
that-
can also, Dave Duncan would probably be available to provide that one trip if we want to contract with Gray Line. He said they didn't have enough to do a full day of service for us, but they could do the city route or Public Express or something. They could provide up to 2 drivers last time I talked to them.
We would advertise it through newsletter, our website, social media.
Physical posts on the bus.
Physical
Bus
posts
on the bus.
Yeah. And shelters.
And
Yeah,
that's the way
we
we
do.
advertise, we plan to advertise all of our holiday closures.
Okay.
Based on that.
So that would be just an additional.
We can push notifications through Toby Transit as well.
Board, what do you think about the canceling some of the service?
You know, do you think that there's somebody that wouldn't want to go to the holiday party that want to drive? Like, maybe we leave that open. I mean, obviously, if we can get all of them there, that's awesome, and they all want to do it, but there may be 1 or 2 that don't like holiday parties and maybe willing to drive. So before we cancel, maybe we have that ask and then have a plan if they all want to show up of communication.
That's a good idea.
And they would still be able to join, right? Even if they did the last.
Even
ride,
if they
it
did the
would just
last
be
run,
late.
they'd still make the last hour or so, yeah. But if they don't want to go to the holiday party, we're not making them.
Okay, well, we'll ask that, and then if that,
Posting it right now.
okay, doesn't come to pass, then we'll try and find somebody else to
Nope, I'm not.
provide the service, so.
Computer's tired.
And anyway, I did want to mention, we will be closed December 25th and January 1st as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Looks like we've gotten through all our business here. So is there a motion to approve adjournment of the meeting?
I'll make that motion. It's great.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sorry, chair votes aye. And the meeting's adjourned at 5:08 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks, guys.
you.
Continue.
Thank you.
Good night.
You're not allowed to.
You ready to go or something?
Yeah, I think so. Do you think so?